Hi, boys and girls. Welcome back to Mrs. Hannah's Story Spot. I'm so glad you could join me today. We are going to have such a fun time reading this book today. This is my husband's favorite book. I'll tell you why in a minute, but I bet it's going to become one of your favorite books too. The name of this book is Hooway for Wodney Wat. I don't want to tell you too much about what this one is about because we're going to find out when we read it. But think about how normal people can be heroes. Did you know that? It doesn't have to be Superman or Spider-Man or somebody big and fancy like that. Normal people like you and me can be heroes every day. Let's check that out. Ready? Hooway for Wodney Wat. And this one has an author whose name is Helen Lester. And remember we talked about the illustrator? The illustrator is Lynn Munsinger. So Lynn is the illustrator. She drew all the pictures. And Helen is the author. She wrote all the words. They work together to make a book. It's really cool. Ready? Here we go. Poor Wodney Wat. His real name is Rodney Rat, but he couldn't pronounce his R's. To make matters worse, he was a rodent. A wodent. What's your name, Wodney? Asked the other rodents. Wodney Wat, whispered Wodney. What's another name for Bunny? They asked knowingly. Wabbit, he mumbled. And how does a train travel? They winked at each other. A twain twevels on twain twacks, Wodney replied miserably. All of this teasing, day in and day out, made Wodney the shyest rodent in his whole elementary school. His squeak could barely be heard in class. He gnawed his lunch alone. And while all the other rodents scurried and scooted about at recess, Wodney hid inside his jacket. Then one day, as the rodents were taking their turns doing wheelies, a new rodent, a very large rodent, barged into the classroom and announced, "My name is Camilla Capybara. I'm bigger than any of you, I'm meaner than any of you, and I am smarter than any of you." Then she added, "So there." With that, she accidentally on purpose elbowed an ear, bumped two noses, stepped on three tails, and laid down on top of a desk. Fur prickled in fear through the classroom. She sure was bigger than any of them. She sure looked meaner than any of them. Was she smarter than any of them? What's 2 plus 2? Asked Miss Fuzzleworth. 4! Shouted Camilla Capybara without even bothering to raise her paw. And furthermore, 4 plus 4 is 8, 8 plus 8 is 16, and 243 plus 125 is 368. Later, when Miss Fuzzleworth asks, "What is the capital of—" Camilla interrupted. "New York, Albany, population 295,594. And during science class, in answer to the question, "What part of a plant is below the ground?" Camilla Capybara danced on her desk and sang, "Root, root, root, rooty toot toot." Yup, thought all the other rodents. She's smarter than we are too. They felt very, very uncomfortable. Every afternoon, just before the final recess, Miss Fuzzleworth drew a name from her hat to see who would be the leader for their favorite game, Simon Says. She scrunched her eyes closed and jiggled the hat. Would it be Hairy Hamster? Minnie Feet Mouse? Grizzle Fizz Guinea Pig? Could it be Mean Smart Camilla Capybara? Mrs. Fuzzleworth's paw reached in and pulled out the name of Wodney Wat. The bell rang and there was a wild scurry for the door, and Camilla Capybara was the first one on the playground, having trampled all the others in her path. He's going to be the leader. To Wodney, she looked especially scary. What would she do when she heard him speak? Would she breathe capybara breath in his face? Would she tie him up with his own tail? Or even pounce on top of him? Oh, he was so scared. The tiny, trembling leader of the game stood before the eager players, his head well inside of his jacket, and squeaked, "Wodney says we design." While all the other rodents were reading PS 142 Elementary School for Rodents, Camilla began pulling up all the weeds around the sign, wildly flinging them hither and yon until she was clear up to her teeth in dirt. All the other rodents started to smile a little bit. What happened there? Wodney says, "Wrap your paws around your head." He peeked a little bit out of his jacket and saw, whap, whap, whappity, whappity, whap. Camilla was whapping her paws around her head so hard she became dizzy and gave herself a headache and had to sit down. The other rodents couldn't help but giggle a little bit. Wodney says, "Play wing around a wosy." Camilla put her arms out like wings and made an airplane noise. But where was the wosy? Wait, what's a wosy? Look at what all the rest of them are doing. Playing ring around the rosy, right? By now, Wodney's voice was stronger and his head was entirely out of his jacket. "Wake the leaves!" Nobody moved. "Wodney says, wake the leaves!" While Hairy Minifeet and Grizzle Frizz and all the others busied themselves raking the leaves, Camilla Capybara grabbed one leaf. "Wake up!" she yelled. She snatched another one. "Come on, you! Up, up, up!" And another one, "Rise and shine!" And another one, "Boo!" By now, all of the other rodents were squealing with laughter, all but Camilla, who frowned. "Them old leaves, they won't wake up." And why was everybody laughing at her? Such bullies. In a voice so strong he had to hold his own ears, Wodney said, "Wodney says go west." All of the rodents collapsed in a happy heap for a rest. Go west. Camilla Capybara, feeling very smart that she could tell directions by the sun and knew which way was west. "All right, I shall go west." And then she added, "So there." And west she stomped. Forever. She was gone. And from that day on, the students of PS 142 Elementary School for Rodents never teased Wodney again. He was their hero. "Hooway for Wodney Wat!" they cried. "Woot, woot, wooty toot toot." How cute is that? I love that book. And what that tells us, I think, is that anybody could be a hero. Wodney was the hero because he stood up to that bully and he protected his friends from that bully, and eventually she just went away. And sometimes that happens. If somebody is being mean to you, if you just ignore them, or you can stand up and ask them to stop and protect you and your friends, then they just go away. They stop. I hope you liked this book as much as I do. Wodney Wat is so cute, isn't he? Well, friends, that was fun. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm so happy I got to read to you. Have a beautiful day.